So we know a bunch of stuff that's going to be coming in 7 Days to Die in the next few updates. I'm not going to say specifically like 3.0 or whatever, because a lot of this is going to be coming in smaller sub updates like 2.6, 2.7 and 2.8. So I'm just going to give you damn near everything I know is coming to this game, starting from what I assume is coming the soonest to the latest. But outside of that, for one moment, there is a very important piece of news that I've been meaning to make a video on for a couple of weeks now, related to the future of 7 Days to Die. And I held off because I was busy with the holidays making other content and updating my mods, but on one of my recent videos, Joel Huning, or Mad Mole, co-founder of Unpimps, confirmed the following, quote, "I'm working on bringing back an LBD magazine hybrid, so less magazines, but actions, repairs and combining items in the workbench will give you skill XP. We just didn't like people rubbing up on cacti to level up, but I've got a way to bring back LBD in a better way." So there it is from one of the original Fun Pimps. Learn by doing in some capacity is coming back one day to 7 Days to Die. We don't know when, or even if it's 100% coming. That certainly isn't set in stone, and it's not like a YouTube comment is legally binding. Oh, and in case you're wondering, yes, that is the very real Joel Huning account. It leads to his account where he used to show off test builds of 7 Days to Die and stuff. I showed that comment off in the forums, and the community took it and spread it across YouTube and Reddit while I was busy, so you may have already seen this, funnily enough. Regardless, this sounds quite promising. Learn by doing is one of the things I've wanted back in 7 Days to Die, so much so that I even made a mod to reintroduce it. So it's very cool to see the Fun Pimps listening to the more long-term player base and their desire to see that old mechanic return to the game. It remains to be seen, of course, if the implementation will be good, but anything is better than just learn by reading, so sign me up. Oh, and another thing he mentioned in the comments was radiation coming to the wasteland. Again, no idea when. That huge news out of the way, let's cover some other really interesting stuff coming to 7 Days to Die, starting with workstations. We know the chicken coop is coming. It's been thrown around for a while, and we can even see traces of it in the game file. I wouldn't be surprised if this one ends up in 2.6 or 2.7 to be honest, but we know a little more since it was technically added to the files of 2.5. Specifically, we know where they're planning to add it to the progression and what tools it's going to have. The chicken coop is listed as a level 6 workstation, so it would be unlocked just after the forge. Then we also have the heat lamp at level 14, a nesting box at level 18, and a chicken run at level 24. A chicken run being an enclosure around a chicken coop, basically. We don't necessarily know exactly what these will do, but we can take some very educated guesses based on how 7 Days to Die's game files usually work. Basically, all the dew collector, apiary, and chicken coop style workstations have 3 slots called yield, speed, and modifier. Heat lamp will likely be the speed modifier, the nesting box will likely be the yield modifier, and the chicken run will likely be a modifier that changes how it works in some way. This one, of course, is the most interesting. The dew collector, of course, has its water filter, which turns murky water into pure water, and the apiary has the smoker, which removes the chance of angry bee swarms. So, what will the chicken run do? Well, we don't know from the game files. My guess would be a literal defense boost to the block. Perhaps given the live animals inside, it would be attacked by zombies, and adding the enclosure will increase its health. That's just a guess though. I wouldn't be surprised to see the chicken coop require food to fuel it like the apiary requires flowers, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the dew collector require jars to fuel it in future as well, because right now it's actually just an infinite jar glitch. In addition, we know that crafting a chicken coop is going to need a live chicken. Mad Mole did not elaborate on how we will obtain one, but that'll probably be fun. Maybe it'll be like in the Long Dark where you smack a rabbit on the head with a rock and then nothing happens to it. There's actually more info on new workstation tools found in the game files as well. The workbench, cement mixer, and chemistry station look like they're going to be getting modifiers like the forge, campfire, and collector stations. I'm not 100% sure which mod is for which tool, but we can take a very educated guess based on when they're unlocked. Toolbox is listed as a mod at level 22, which would mean it's logically for the workbench because neither of the other two are unlocked yet. The vice is unlocked at level 28, again presumably the workbench, and the reload press is unlocked at level 36, again presumably the workbench. I imagine these might work like mods on the collectors or the forge, giving crafting speed bonus and gating access to certain things. Maybe you need an ammo press to even make ammo, for example. I personally really like that, but I know a lot of people would be upset. I just think it being harder to get a lot of ammo would be a good challenge in a non-stupid way. We also have the engine upgrade unlocked just after the cement mixer, so I have to imagine it's a speed boost for the cement mixer. We also have the rock crusher at level 42, seemingly again for the cement mixer, and the mixer blade again for the cement mixer, probably as it's unlocked at level 46. Then at level 54 we have the glassware. I assume this is for the chem station, and level 60 we get the advanced burner, and level 66 we get the Bunsen burner. A quick reminder that all this comes from some comments left in the game files. This is far from a final implementation, and any and all of this could be removed and never mentioned again at any moment. We have seen that before with things found in the game files. Still, its presence in the actual game files is very telling as to how far that could be on the horizon. On to the next stuff, menu toggles. We have been asking for more customization options in the world settings for a very long time, and to 7 Days to Die's credit, we've always had a very customizable game, but we can always do more to fine-tune our exact desires in-game, and it looks like 2.8 is going to be bringing that to us. Madmole on the forum said, quote, "We're adding sandbox options in 2.8. I added the vending machines are broken option due to your suggestion," referring to someone he was replying to, "though that will make candy obsolete." I will interject here for any fun pimps who may be watching. The majority of people who are going to be playing with vending machines turned off are probably doing so because they think that food and water is too common and the candies and stuff are too powerful. That's why I dislike them, so that may be a problem you don't really have to worry about. Anyway, he continues, "We already have trader options planned as well as item archetype abundancy options, so you'll be able to tune to your heart's content what your idea of balance should be." That is great. 2.5 made a bunch of good changes to reduce the dependence on traders, so hearing that we'll have the trader options in this is great because honestly I'd love to nerf the shit out of them or even just turn them off in my playthroughs because they're a total crutch. The item abundancy options they mentioned are something they mentioned previously in a live stream where they mentioned the ability to reduce medicine abundancy or ammo abundancy separate from loot abundance in general. I really like this because I'd say medicine and ammo, for example, are way too common in 7 Days to Die, but often turning down overall loot abundance makes some things a real chore. So more control over that will be fun. I do have a huge list of menu toggles I would love to see added to the game, but I will save that for another video. As a bonus, they already mentioned that they want to separate player damage from zombie damage. That way you don't have to choose between insane difficulty or warrior difficulty. You can choose if you want the zombies to be squishy and high damage or vice versa. Now you might be wondering just how many settings are they planning on adding here? Well, we know from Fatal on the forums that there is a list of something like 50 or 100, which is a big gap to be unsure about, I'm not gonna lie. My point being, we could be expecting an unreal amount of menu toggles. Even if only half of that lower number gets added, that's 25, and that's a whole new game's worth of menu options, and honestly that shit excites me. But just keep your expectations steady. 100 ideas might translate to 10 actual toggles in the game. Time's going to be the only way to really tell. Another big thing the community has been asking for, that the Fun Pimps mentioned that they want to do back in the community town hall stream in June or July, was tier 4 guns. These would be essentially loot only tier 4 guns that come after the tier 3s, and they would add another weapon to each of the main classes in 7 Days to Die. Unfortunately, we don't really know much more than that. My hope though is that they use actual clean factory new guns instead of the scrap guns we have now, because of course they're not craftable, so why would they look like scrap? In this video, by the way, if you see any guns that you don't recognize, I am using Isaiah's vanilla replacer for those models. I prefer them greatly over vanilla because I don't like scrappy designs. The next thing we may see one day is fast travel. Now I'm going to be honest with you guys, this is kind of a conspiracy. Several years ago, on a live stream, one of the developers said a little bit too much about the helipads and radios that appear in the trader compound, so these might end up being trader fast travel mechanics. But that was literally like 2 years ago. I can't imagine it would have been difficult to implement if they wanted to. My point being that if they wanted them in the game right now, they'd be there. But they're not. Why? Well, I have no idea. Perhaps the idea was scrapped, or more realistically, perhaps the idea is seen as unnecessary until we have a full main storyline in the game. Which brings me to bandits. Bandits are required in order for the story to function, according to the devs, which makes sense. The incredibly bare bones understanding we have of the story of this game indicates that there is a bandit faction led by the Duke, who is a casino owner, as in yes, the Duke's casino tokens guy. Fun fact, this is actually him. We're gonna try and get revenge against him, basically. The bandits are his guys, and that's why we need them before they can start implementing the story. Bandits are a hotly debated 7 Days to Die feature that has been promised soon for years upon years at this point, but regardless, 3.0 is the designated bandit update, and I imagine they mean it this time because they're a little bit more consistent with what they end up putting in their updates. They're a little bit more directed, although 2.0 indicates that they are still able to miss the mark quite a bit. We don't know a huge amount about bandits, but I'll be putting a bunch of concept art and renders up on the screen that were floated to be related to bandits at some point throughout this game's history. What we do know is this. Apparently, bandits are essentially almost there, functional at this point, and have been for years, but they've been refining and improving them in the back to bring them in for 3.0. Anyway, some solid facts we do know. Bandits will taunt the player, they will use melee weapons and guns, they will not be a part of Horde Night, they won't have any noticeable performance problems. We know that POIs will likely be dedicated to bandits rather than being sprinkled into zombie POIs. For example, I imagine the destroyed trader outpost and some of the other POIs with hanging corpses are just waiting to be switched over to bandits. And bandits will apparently also sleep, they will have longer sight ranges than zombies and animals, and bandits will have their own specific clothes for each type and tier, which indeed indicates that there are classes and tiers similar to how we have regular feral and radiated zombies. Bandits will be able to jump, they will crouch and find cover, they apparently cannot drive, and they will have similar pathfinding to zombies, but presumably the ones with guns will just shoot at you rather than running at you. I would certainly hope, at least. And we're getting to really older info here, so start taking it with bigger pinches of salt. There may be bandit kill squads that will work like mini Blood Moon events, with set number of bandits that you have to kill. Apparently, the bandits will be able to heal as well. Players will be able to loot the items the bandits have, but the game stage system will presumably stop them from having much better gear from you anyway. A couple of minor things I noticed when researching this video, by the way. There is a raft, possibly one day coming to 7 Days to Die, but don't hold your breath. And there is a bleed smell mechanic originally slated for 2.5, which has been since disabled because of disagreements on implementation. So expect to see bleed causing smell at some point in the game's future, but also maybe not. We also know what was on those original roadmaps. We are currently a year behind on those at best. We know that new quest types are coming. They mentioned the possibility of a destroy a POI type quest, and there is a trader overhaul coming too, and I may actually have some fun info on that, but I'll do that in a separate video, so stay tuned for that. Additionally, we also know that Steam Workshop support is coming eventually, and we know that the Fun Pimps would like to put mods on console, but that remains a massive bitch to actually implement. But anyway, that's everything I could find or remember that's coming in 7 Days to Die in the future, but I definitely missed at least 19 specific random things, so let me know what I missed in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, why not check out this video popping up on screen going over essential tips to help you survive in 7 Days to Die 2.5s. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.